This is Shady McCoy with his theory on why no black coaches got hired in this coaching cycle. Play the clip.
NFL, with no black owners, they don't want a whole bunch of black head coaches. You know why? Because it takes the power away from some of them positions. Break it down, Shady. Back in the day, the most important position is quarterback, like it is now. The difference is now, it was no black quarterbacks, and they always talk bad about them. Oh, they run, they can't win with them. And now, the best players is the ones running around. So now you have way more black quarterbacks, right? So now we take a lot of that power away, right? You be damned if you're going to have some black owners and take a lot of power. Cool. You're not going to get no head coaches that's going to take power. So now it's like they don't want some of the black players to get some of that power. So, because we already lost the quarterback battle. We already lost that battle. So now we can't lose the head coach battle either.
What do we think, and I mean this respectfully, or as respectfully as I can while saying something disparaging. What do we think Shady's IQ is? 75? High 60s? And I'm saying that respectfully because that argument is so illogical, and anybody listening to that would be like, this is an idiot. Did he pick up a book anywhere when he, do we know what school LeSean McCoy, Pittsburgh? Did he go to Pittsburgh? Did he go to Pitt? Should be embarrassed. This man is damn near 40 and making one of the most illogical arguments I've ever heard in my life. And everybody knows it. And keep in mind, and his argument is, man, there's all these black former players that should be coaches. And people are like listening to these black former players on podcasts and on TV shows say the most illogical things possible, loudly, boldly, daring anybody to disagree with them. And you wonder why owners are like, oh boy, let me take a little thought here before I give one of these guys the reins to my multi-billion-dollar football franchise. If that's the way Shady McCoy is going to represent former black football players, and that's what he's doing. And again, there may be other guys that disagree or unpack it differently than Shady McCoy. Because I won't say disagree because it seems to be in unison. All the black former players think they're getting screwed over and they should all be head coaches. They should all be, because, and again, we know what this is. Just like the former players, many of them have mismanaged their money. And now they want to be head coaches so they can make millions of dollars again. And they think they're owed it. And they think they're more qualified to be head coaches than guys that never played in the NFL. And they're wrong. That you win the genetics lottery and make it to the NFL. You play the game, but you're not a student of the game. You never were a student of the game. You hit the genetics lottery. And now you think you're a better coach candidate than Bill Belichick that played at some tiny Division II or Division III school and then spent his entire 1920 or his 20s and even teenage years dreaming about being a head football coach and preparing himself to be a head football coach. But you think, hey, man, I played the game. I made it to the NFL. I won the genetics lottery. This qualifies me to out-coach Bill Belichick and Kyle Shanahan. And it doesn't. Those guys have poured their life into learning how to coach. The players poured their lives into learning how to play and how to take advantage of their athletic gifts. Now that there's a bunch of money, millions of dollars on the line, now all the players want to coach. But do they really want to coach? And can they really compete? I'll give you the example. Deion Sanders has been masquerading as a college football coach for the last 5-6 years. It should now be crystal clear to you that Kirk Cignetti could coach and can and does and has coached thousands of circles around Deion Sanders because Kirk Cignetti's life has been dedicated to coaching. And Deion Sanders' life was dedicated to playing. If there's a coaching comparison between Deion Sanders and Kirk, it's so lopsided. And NFL owners know this. And they sit through interviews because of the Rooney Rule, and this is why you need to be careful for what you wish for. Hey, the Rooney Rule requires them to interview 2 black candidates for this job or that job. Well, be careful, because some of these coaches get into these interviews and they sound like Shady McCoy, and they end up getting exposed. And the owner gets to like, man, this guy's an idiot, and he wants to be my head coach. He doesn't know anything about being a head coach. And that's why most of them, many of them, they always talk about relating to players. Man, I can relate to the players. That's so incredibly overrated when it comes to being an effective head coach of anything. Because as a grown man, a young man should find you unrelatable because you are so wise and your ways have been so corrected through your life that it's hard for you to relate to them because they think so many dumb things that you used to think, and you're sitting there like, man, I can't wait for you to grow up. Because this stuff you swearing by, I used to swear by it too. And you sound retarded. I used to be retarded. And so I want to, before I move on, I want to make one more point. I want to play Bomani Jones. And he's not a former athlete, but he's a black man in the media who thinks like the stereotypical black man that will not take the scales off his eyes and realize what real truth is and what time we're living in, and to come up out of all these baby thoughts and to come up out of all this victimhood thoughts, come up out of all this feminine energy. I'm a victim. The white man won't give me what I want. I'm going to cry about it. It's racist. That's all feminine energy, and they've convinced you that screaming racism is the most courageous thing that a black man can do. Because no one will tell you that every time you do it, the white man and any other man with a pair of balls and a brain, he's laughing at you. Look at this coward. He can't compete intellectually in this intellectual Olympics. And so he just wants, it's racism. That's a coward. It's someone so biblically unsound that the whole world moves on racism. That's not explained in the Bible. And yes, partiality is explained in the Bible. But the Bible doesn't teach that partiality rules the world and controls everything. No. There's a set of values that we are prescribed to adopt in the Bible that eliminates victimhood as an option. And when you're not man enough to eliminate victimhood, don't be shocked when real men, when someone like Robert Kraft is like, man, I don't want to hear your excuses. I don't want to hear none of your victimhood. Do you know what happened to me? Do you know what I had to do to get here? I really don't want to hear it. And that's why we're not good candidates for leadership. Because most of us aren't bold enough to stand out here on our own 2 feet, reject victimhood, and claim victory, and reject excuses and do whatever's necessary.